Yo, we don't fuck with chibi reviews. You might get real mad and then dox another lolicon. Oh. That's what they're doing over there now, right? All the weebs. All the weebs are like tricking each other into doxing. Yeah? There was that Kodiak guy they pulled this with. Like the weebs on Twitter and Twitch and stuff, they're all about like threats of violence and tricking each other into doxing third parties. It's fucking deranged. You like that? RT? That's Backpack from the Grindstone OST. It's as nice as the stream's gonna be. We have some weirdo shit going on. Ooh. Ooh, crispy fingers. Broly Cankles! Broly Cankles Anonymous Chibi Reviews more like child abuse. How's it? That must have been done before. But they're just gonna kill each other. You don't... They're in danger from fucking each other, primarily. I don't fucking... Whew. In vengeance against Kiwi Farms, they're gonna kill dozens of lolicons. Apparently, I don't know what they're fucking doing. I don't know what the game is. Do you think Chibi is just that stupid, or if he's feeding the trolls for dough? I think he's feeding the trolls for dough and simultaneously doesn't understand the extent of what he's doing. And this time, I don't think it's going to get him really hurt. One of these times, he's going to pull this with the wrong person, though. One of these times, he's going to fall for this shit, or deliberately play into it, or maybe it's organized. Who knows? And they're going to hit the wrong person, and he's going to get hit back. The way he advocates that people hit back. And it's going to be very ugly, I would bet. Fucking with Kiwi Farms is already a major mistake. More so, like, because of the people who don't like Kiwi Farms. Because once you turn it into you versus Kiwi Farms, anyone there's so many people who enjoy the escalation that you're going to get people going, "Hello, I am Eben Kiwi Farms, prepared to die," to amp things up. It's just fucking guaranteed to happen. And I think the real hook for people is that Kiwi Farms normally host more like embarrassing stuff. I think people can like Discord alerts. Hang on. I had one ready. I think even if someone's genuinely scared of like a letter showing up at their house or whatever, I think you can get over the adrenaline of that. But like when it's people looking at something embarrassing about you or ridicule, I feel like for a lot of people, that's like lower level but more persistent. It niggles at them. Yeah, I don't know. Didn't do one for your video? It's fine. It's fine. The fucking wooden rocking chair as an endorsement of terroristic violence and biohazards. By the way, did fucking Chibi Reviews call black people a biohazard in that tweet? I guess he's referring to the person saying they were going to hire a black man to shit on his table or something. But they're not sending the shit to his house. They said they're sending black people to his house, and he called that a biohazard? I don't know. Or whatever he said it. Refuse, biological waste, or whatever. It's all very strange. Alright. We got some good stuff, I think. Some recommendations from the chat. The feminine horror of Shadow the Hedgehog. Thumbnail. His body isn't his. He is a clone or something, isn't he? Right? Right? Don't people remember the phone book? The Doc Sphere is an odd thing. It's more of a fear, I think, if it's connected to something else that would incite action. Read Eugene Volokh. For instance, if the name was attached to a threatening letter shared by someone who's encouraged his audience to abandon pacifism to damage people who do that. I don't know. Seems fucking wild. I will continue to watch. Why are you asking about Sonic? You're the autistic one? I don't have that kind of autism. I think being interested in Sonic is more of like a sexual derangement autism thing, typically. We know from our beloved Bendolin. Man, I'm tweaking out. I have 3 videos I have to edit before I can justify doing stuff with the Osmo. I have 3 videos that use phone footage that I need to finish before I can play with my new damn camera. Discipline. Because if I start playing with the camera, I'm only going to want to use the camera, and I'm not going to want to do the phone stuff. And I'm going to abandon... I need to do... Fuck. Anyway, Shadow the Hedgehog. The feminine horror. I remember the end of Sonic Adventure 2 with the giant slug beast.
Here's something I can't stop thinking about. About a year ago, someone I follow on Twitter made a tweet along the lines of, Shadow the Hedgehog is like Punisher. I didn't reply to it, I didn't engage, I just scrolled and moved on with my life, or I tried to. But it sat with me for a long time, in the way that only a post that misunderstands your...
I'm not super familiar with Sonic the Hedgehog or the Punisher. I gotta admit, this is going over my head.
Interpretation of your favorite fictional little...
Maria! That's all I know about that guy.
Can. So here I am, making this video.
Wait, is this a real woman? No, that is a crude drawing of a anthropomorphic hedgehog.
I'm going to begin by saying that despite all the weird things this tweet made me feel, and despite everything I'm going to say about this tweet, I can see why they posted it. For those who don't know the Punisher's whole deal, after Frank Castle's family dies and the members of the mob who killed them are let off the hook scot-free...
The Maria crossover? The girl Shadow cares about is called Maria as well, right? Maria.
The Punisher goes on a warpath with one motivation. If the justice system won't take these criminals down, he'll do it himself. It doesn't end with the mob. Any crook in his bloody warpath becomes a target, until that violence consumes him. Shadow the Hedgehog, at a glance, has all the aesthetic pieces of the Punisher. The affinity for heavy...
You kill because you like it. What if you only like killing people who should be killed? That's the old... Do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Artillery, deadly weaponry, strong displays of power, all balanced...
kill something you love and you'll never...
with a protector archetype. He has no time for the bureaucracy, especially not the same bureaucracy that in many ways has ruined his life and left him floundering for any sense of justice.
My Sonic lore level is that I'm not sure whether it's Rouge the Bat or Rogue the Bat. I want to say it's Rouge, because I think she's French.
In the world.
Maybe?
Just like the Punisher, he's even served time in the armed forces for a bit. Who better than Shadow would understand the flaws in the system? The same system that killed everyone he ever knew and thought of his family, that locked him away for being a threat before he even had the chance to prove them wrong. But here's something to keep in mind. In the Punisher's eyes, the law enforcement...
It's the color, dingus. She's fucking white. Why isn't she called Blanc?
Machine is not working, at least not efficiently. The machine is necessary, but the wheels are rusted, and he is the grease. The gears of justice get caught on the muck, and he needs to clean house. It isn't that the Punisher hates law enforcement, it's that law enforcement isn't getting the job done.
Who is my Sonichu? Ausrad. I send him out to zap to the extreme. All the time.
Death penalties can be avoided in the court system, but they can't be avoided when the Punisher is on your heels. You know, on the subject of law enforcement, it's been a strange few months in the United States, politically speaking. We have untrained law enforcement with constitutional protections on steroids, breaking down doors, violently arresting people, deporting families, terrorizing...
Shadow the Hedgehog would never let this happen.
Everyone they see with a skin tone darker than Pantone beige desert ivory, and murdering unarmed residents in the streets in
That's generous. I think we need to lighten that up.
cold blood. That's not the strange part, that's just a Tuesday for us, to be honest. The strange part is the schism between political affiliations as they get starker than ever. The way some people are bending over backwards to defend the most heinous parts of all this, as others march in the streets against it. Everywhere we look, we're seeing a shift in how everyday people discuss
this
the
guy.
justice system machine.
That guy got fucking killed.
The Punisher's issue with the machine is that it isn't effective enough at what it does. It lets too many crooks off the hook with their lives intact, and so he must be the replacement.
I agree. I shouldn't be like this. I think immigrants should just disappear. You shouldn't even know ICE is there.
So when someone posits that Shadow the Hedgehog is like the Punisher, by transitive property, what we need to ask is how does Shadow feel?
And I don't mean like I don't mean like taken away in the night. I mean literally they could be standing in a grocery store and they just disappear like a magic trick. That's the level of training we need. Mr. Ho, don't call me that. I used to be Chinese, but I got better. Can I explain it? Not really. Apparently there's all sorts of fucking lore on this guy. He's more just funny. For me, at least, he's the guy who almost got cucked to death. But now he's doing this weird grift spiral thing where it's, I think, starting to be a catastrophe. And if he continues, will surely be like a legendary fucking internet catastrophe. That's my interest in observing. Also, I felt like I should probably, because of the amount of retards reacting to him posting that letter, just felt like a little put it out there. Hey, maybe you've been fucking fucked with. Just mitigate that shit a little bit.
About the machine. Here's something I can't stop thinking about. Shadow, for all his boasting and acceptance of his role as the ultimate life form, never asked to be the ultimate life form. It was thrust on him just like
just like me. It's just like me.
A dozen other roles, really. His purpose.
Is he still living in Japan? I'm not aware of that. If there was a Chibi living in Japan arc, I think that would be really, really funny. There's no way that wouldn't have been a catastrophe.
Purpose is split between being weaponized for a gun as an undying soldier, being groomed for Black Doom's apocalypse, and being harvested for Maria's health. He's going to save this girl. No, he's going to save us all. No, he's gonna doom us all.
What is that thing? That's like some shit you summon as a ritualist in Guild Wars. What is that?
He's a service dog on steroids, he's a weapon of mass destruction, he's a multi-billion-dollar wad of clay being molded by every hand except his own. Before he's had his first gulp of recycled space colony air, he's been split into pieces for the highest bidders. And that is what Shadow must contend with. When your purpose has been bought and sold, how do you choose who you will be? Who are you?
It's just like me. It's just like me. It's just like everyone.
When you're told from birth that you exist for the consumption.
Someone showed me like a video of years ago of Chibi showing the inside of his house, and it's like a fucking crack den. It's so weird.
And control of others. It's one of the themes that gives me something to still chew on when I consider Shadow the Hedgehog 2005. I've mentioned this on my channel before.
Like, sorry to go off topic of the video, which is very important and we're very engaged with. Like, if I take photos inside my house, I like double check them before I upload to make sure I haven't fucked up and I'm not showing like a reflection or something that would... I can't fucking imagine just filming around inside and outside. Like, what the... out of your damn mind?
But the story of Shadow 05 is not a narrative about a hedgehog with a missile launcher choosing between bullet-riddled revenge and explosive.
Just like, I don't understand that people don't understand that someone who doesn't have those considerations regarding his own shit is fucking dangerous to be involved with in any capacity, because he's like missing pieces. He is dangerous to be connected to. Insanely fucking dangerous. I don't know. And now that danger and now that recklessness is spilling over onto other people because people have seen that he can be used in that way. And it is just, fuck me.
Of heroism, or at least that's not all it is. It's a story.
He did indeed used to have his address in his video descriptions.
About identity. It's not about what Shadow was designed to do, it's about who he is. You're bombarded with the theme at every turn. I am all of me, and I am all I am. This is Elder Scrolls lore. Who I am. No, this is who I am. Until the bittersweet conclusion where Shadow decides that it does not matter what his past is. It does not matter if he was made for Maria, or made for the world, or made for the military, or made for Black Doom. Sayonara to them all.
Made for Black Doom?
Government assigned
I didn't realize Sonic the Hedgehog went that extreme.
Purpose. He is now remaking himself for himself. His choice to protect this world is no longer a burden saddled onto him by a dying girl. It's a choice.
Chaos. Control.
That he makes again and again. And that's what makes what happens in Shadow Generations so interesting to me.
What happens?
I should say here, to get ahead of some comments, Shadow Gens has been characterized by some as a step backwards for Shadow's character after Shadow 2005. And while I see where people are coming from, I'm gonna gently push
Why did you send this to me? I have... Is this English?
This idea. After all, like I said, Shadow 2005 is about who Shadow decides to be.
This is like a video... If Hexathian was black and female, he would make this video. Okay? What's this one? This is gonna be me. Is this the one where I have the like thing that just says title screen on it? Or something? Where... oh...
About his identity. Shadow Generations is about how that identity holds up in the ultimate test of who we are. Grief. These are separate ideas. Shadow's choice to remove his identity from the context of the past, and from the hands that have attempted to mold and redirect his power for their own cause, is a different narrative theme altogether than what Gens is focusing on. The fact that Shadow never got to say goodbye.
This shit requires you to know everything. This is for big Sonic heads.
Shadow 5 is not about grief. There's still room,
but at the same time, I can't stop
for that to be explored. And for those who point at the ending of Shadow 2005 to mean that Shadow doesn't have any grief anymore, he's all better now, he's over it.
The thing is, I like don't want to look at the next video, because I know you don't know what the next video is. I know what the next video is. I played Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, but I don't remember that shit. I even played Sonic Adventure 2 on stream and did everything. This was the next video I had lined up, dude. Here we go. You asked for it. Using memes to groom. Pink pilled. Force femme grooming through memes. Through memes.
Grooming is the insidious act of earning a person's trust through manipulation, fully intending to exploit them. If I told you people were doing this through memes, you'd probably call me crazy. But
yeah, and worse. And conditioned to think what's normal isn't normal, warp their sense of normality, so on and so forth.
I promise, by the end of this video, your mind will have been changed tenfold. Pink pilling...
Is that a fucking... In the context of that, this sounds like a threat.
Manipulation, fully intending to exploit them. If I told you people were doing this through memes, you'd probably call me crazy. But
No, you could do it by pretty much any means. The contact, the extended contact is probably the most important part. You could do it with anything, right?
Promise, by the end of this video, your mind will have been changed tenfold. Pink pilling is a lesser known, more recent type of grooming that focuses on force femming, typically by introducing certain ideas through seemingly innocuous sources.
Few people know IKEA's influence.
Such as memes or YouTube videos. It's a phrase born from terminally online discussion that began to hold water as it became more common. These days, you can find traces of it scattered across various viral memes, and this was no accident. Trans girls and pumpkins.
I feel like a lot... Wait, pumpkins?
Skirts and thigh highs.
I don't know that, Lord. What is pumpkins? I know what a hun is.
And of course,
I know what an egg is.
Kisser. In the hands of the wrong person, these can be weaponized into something horrible, and best believe they already have been. Today I'll be telling you all about it. I'll also explain how it works, how to spot it, and cover a few communities at
Here's your guide.
risk, though for
Hold
the sake
up.
of safety, I'll only cover known cases. Before we get started,
well.
quick disclaimer. This video isn't to spread anti-trans rhetoric, seeing as I am literally part of the LGBTQ.
You can't really not do that with this necessarily. You have to. You can't do disclaimer. I'm not trying to spread anti-trans rhetoric and then like show us the most extreme fucking cringe and disgust comp you've ever seen in your life. You have to actually bake that in somehow.
Generalizing them as a bunch of groomers would be really stupid. That said, this is meant to be informative and not some political commentary, so I'm leaving most of my opinions out of the discussion, and I'll probably sound like an enlightened centrist off Reddit. Wherever you, the viewer, fall on this funny compass, I don't really care right now. I just want you to learn something. All I ask is for you all to be normal, not kill each other in the comments, and
Educational pink pill content.
definitely not to harass anyone afterwards. Hopefully this video will spread awareness, and by the grace of
Okay, but if you're like showing me someone who's grooming kids, why shouldn't we?
God, invite a level-headed discussion. Alright, let's get into this mess.
The origin.
This
Sudden urge to play Faith. Faith. That's what that font makes me want to do.
chapter covers a bunch of
Instagram is trying to groom you into being Chinese? My girlfriend's trying to fucking groom me into being Chinese with Instagram. She keeps calling me a chuddy. She calls me chuddy. And that isn't to do with being a chud. That's Chinese buddy.
related things.
Because she says I look like this frog on Instagram.
Sorry if it seems all over the place, but I promise it will make sense in a few minutes. Let's start off with a question. Who
Half of Australia is Chinese, and all of Sydney. Sydney's pretty cool. It's like being in a giant Chinatown. Like, I like it. Or I liked it when I was there.
here remembers e-girls in Prime 2018, when you couldn't scroll more than 5 posts on Instagram without seeing Belle Delphine's grippers on your screen? Funnily enough,
I wouldn't know. Whenever I go on Instagram, it's just food.
this period of time was crucial, because it showed people just how influential one could get by simply being attractive, wearing specific outfits, and having
A real lesson. A lesson to... That's always has been. Always has been.
a Redditor catering personality. Up until this day, this remains an unpatched method of raising your follow count by the 100,000s. How does this relate to the topic at hand? Well, as it turns out, if you take those same outfits and slap them on guys who look like girls, the appeal went nowhere. In fact, to some people, it was even more desirable. I know
Homosexuals.
what you're thinking. Am I seriously implying e-girls created femboys? Definitely not, but what I am saying is e-girls helped popularize what's now widely known as the Amazon Basics fit, consisting of a skirt, thigh highs, fishnets, and oversized hoodie. If you were active online in
Is it really that far away from shit people were into before?
the years surrounding 2020, you probably remember the absolutely insane number of memes about this very outfit circulating, especially
Okay, yeah, these Chinese frogs look like Tim. What, because they don't have hair?
memes thirsting over thigh highs. E-girls themselves did not give way to the big femboy craze around 2020. Instead, it was their audiences. Remember the term
I think that's what COVID did to people. Like, I think the virus actually did it to them.
weeaboo? It's a derogatory phrase to make fun of someone LARPing as Japanese, since there was a lot of that going on in the 2010s. If you recall, weeb culture tends to have a lot of Gunnar-esque
No, e-girls didn't create femboys, they invented skirts. Yeah. Something feels a little bit off about this analysis. Yes.
memes, such as the Ahegeo face hoodie.
The... Ahegeo? Is that how you say it?
Here's a simple equation for you. E-girls targeted
I thought GAO was Gao.
normies. Weebs are
Ahegao. Ahegao. Surely, not Ahegeo.
normies. Weebs love memes. E-girls use memes to appeal to normies. It's a feedback loop, and in a way the two cultures, if you can call them that, influenced each other. Just like that Ahegeo meme I mentioned a second ago, e-girls started doing the face, and it garnered like 10 billion likes a post.
Right.
It was a huge hit and proved the cultures could work together.
The Japanese invented women sticking their tongue out.
Another popular piece of weeb gooner culture were maid outfits, which e-girls picked up on. These outfits were popular for a few reasons, though two big ones come from anime and certain categories on certain websites. When you
if we're gonna go to the origins, I think maid outfits and smut goes deeper. I'm just saying.
It was usually somebody cosplaying an anime character. I'm sure people were completely normal about that and didn't make a metric fuck ton of memes about them. Obviously, these were intended as jokes, though the humor really did boil down to putting on the funny sex outfit in a lot.
I'm pretty sure the joke as well is a reference to a particular fetish, though. It's not independent of that.
Of cases. And you just have to ask yourself, is it really a joke? It's undeniable that at some point it's been used to sway others into, well, putting on the maid dress. After all, it's just a joke. Wouldn't it be so funny if you followed through and actually did it? Seems harmless, till you think of the possible implications for 5 seconds. There's a sort of follow-up to a lot of these memes.
I like how he's saying, this is going to be neutral, I'm going to sound like a radical centrist Redditor, I'm not making any sort of commentary, and then he describes someone putting on a dress, a man putting on a dress as not being harmless.
Where the text states, I started this as a joke. I don't think it is one anymore. It's hard to call that a coincidence, because it isn't. I wonder if that applies to other jokes. Around this time, one of those happened to be at an all-time peak. Traps aren't gay. Throughout the later half of the 2010s, a huge number of people became obsessed.
It's funny, because lying is funny.
With the idea of a trap. A guy who looks so convincingly like a girl, it's hard to believe they aren't one. Hence, a trap. Though the implication of the word trap turned the humor into ironic gay shitposting and coping. I'm sure you remember hearing stuff like, it's not gay if we keep our socks on. At the end of the day, the humor boiled down to...
I know a version of that. My version of that is, what I know is it's not gay if the balls touch. I don't know about the socks. Yes, Ithalis, exactly. Harmful needs to rewatch the Quitting Sissy Hypno video after that. We're never looking at that guy again. Fuck no.
Gay sex and guys that look like girls being hot. Wasn't really something people took seriously at the time, until they did. But we'll get to that in a moment.
That Finster shit is some of the most disturbing stuff on the internet. Body horror.
Something pushed through these e-girl or femboy memes was a fixation on a hyper-feminine body type. No body hair, flawlessly clear skin, hourglass figure, and of course, all of that being showcased through the Redditor catering Amazon Basics fit. Eventually, femboys were lumped into this, though when they were a lot more niche at the time. So instead of using real photos of femboys,
and then the vax,
a lot of them just used e-girls and captioned them with, if you look like this and you're a guy, hit me up, please. It's a lot harder to write these off as jokes when the punchline...
Haven't there been controversies as well over women pretending to have dicks? Stolen tranoid valor? I have to think carefully about my words. Wasn't that a thing that was popping off on Twitter?
Is literally just thirsting over a photo of someone. More often than not, when referencing femboys, these thirsting memes would use artwork of anime characters like Astolfo instead of real photos. And Jesus Christ.
I feel like the solution to all of this is make someone who's into this see one of them in real life. Spend an entire day at a busy spot in a city. Change your mind.
Did this get out of hand?
Stolen
95%
Fowler!
of the time you see one of these memes, it's either cropped NSFW or implying something sexual. This meme hasn't gone anywhere. You can still find it being posted all over the place. In the rare instance where it actually was a guy, well, to say photos of femboys wearing
So, Jebregi says, a certain chubtuber I watch may be right when he said this video itself is pink pill propaganda. The vibe I get off of this is to... There's an appeal to people, I've noticed, or at least it seems like there's an appeal to people, of on a platform where it would be inappropriate to have like full-on this content. They enjoy having it on YouTube, if you get what I'm saying. And for them, this might be a way for them to experience what they'd look at elsewhere on YouTube, because it feels different when it's on YouTube. So yeah, probably is like fetish content or something.
girl outfits generated attention would be like saying Minecraft sold a few copies. This audience of people would lose.
I mean, EPI would be one example, but I'm not talking about kids here. I'm talking about adults who are into it. But like, I guess it would be like an off. It would be like a tangent off of voyeurism, where the thing they're looking at feels like it's in a more public space, and they enjoy that.
Their fucking mind.
If you get what I'm saying, even if they themselves are not in public watching it, it's on YouTube now.
And the numbers it generated, the influence.
Maybe I'm off base.
It started trickling down into age demographics that really shouldn't be looking at stuff like this. Characters like Astolfo becoming icons for the femboy community wouldn't be nearly as concerned.
Sorry, the other way. Yeah, the exhibitionist. Sorry, it would be the other way round. Voyeur is when you look, exhibition is when you show. Yeah, whatever.
If it wasn't for the biblical levels of NSFW in circulation, and the fact most members of these communities are minors. It's time for the community wouldn't be looking at stuff like this. Characters like Astolfo becoming icons for the femboy community wouldn't be nearly as concerning. If it wasn't for the biblical levels of NSFW in circulation, and the fact most members of these communities are minors.
Here we go.
It's time for an uncomfortable truth. The Amazon basics fit as we know.
Okay. He's going in pretty fucking hard. Majority of people involved are minors. Across this whole thing, tons of porn, all of these memes.
It was popularized heavily by models who used it to draw your attention to certain places. Use your imagination. The maid outfit was used for the exact same thing. On their own, these outfits are not inherently sexual. Yet in the context that influenced this big wave of memes, they kind of were. And the...
Do you remember the Parlo gay sex drama? No, because I didn't look at it. I know there's like a fucking dildo called Tinkerbell or something. In the, like... I'm in the ballpark, right?
The audience definitely saw it that way. So seeing these same outfits later go triple platinum mainstream in minor-dominated places...
I only learned of it through people joking about it. My knowledge of that shit comes from people's jokes about it, so I don't really...
is one of many reasons why people find femboy communities so repulsive these days. It's not rocket science to look at...
Hang on.
Why people find
Right, I had to double check. I thought the top left was a trans flag black sun.
Femboy communities so repulsive these days.
Which wouldn't be surprising, but it isn't.
It's not rocket science to look at this meme trend and realize...
Guys, we have a dog posting in the chat. Little Miss D says, I'm sitting in a hot car outside IKEA. This may be my last stream.
It's a bunch of hormonal teenagers and weebs shitposting. Occasionally, weeb humor breaches containment and goes mainstream, such as traps aren't gay. Unfunniness aside, it wasn't really hurting anyone. Or was it?
I've said this before. When I looked into that Stephanie person, Stephanie Walsh, real name like Gary or something. When I looked into him and I looked into his fetish, the videos, the like fucking hypno videos, they're not like hundreds of views. They're not like thousands of views. They are hundreds of thousands to millions of views. Before that point, I had no fucking idea it was such a big thing. I was like, why? It's fucking weird that this fucking sissy hypno fetish has become such a meme in online communities when it's such a niche thing. I thought it was a niche thing. Apparently fucking not.
Behind the scenes, a storm was brewing. A small demographic was taking these memes a little too seriously. Worse is another demographic realized that. Predators with a fetish for this type of thing realized they could harness these memes to pull strings, manipulating certain groups into becoming feminine or...
Realized. You're presenting it as if it's a corruption of the system, when I think it was, always has been.
Fully transitioning. If that sounds crazy, what if I told you this was already happening before any of these memes went mainstream?
Oh, cool. Thank you. V-Plasma, I'm revoking my suspicions of you. As you say these things, I was concerned you wouldn't.
In early 2018, rumors of a 4chan user named Reiko began spreading online. A user allegedly using the R9K board to grow a femboy blackmailing ring. R9K was kinda notorious for having a ton of super lonely femboys and the like on it. Using the board, a Discord server was created to lure in members. From here, it's claimed Reiko forced these users to transition by manipulating them into sharing cross-dressing photos, then blackmailing them into
Can you not? Can you not?
taking HRT lest these photos be sent to their family. Since
Needs to be noted that these people already have the seed in them. They're not like a blank slate. They're collecting like the saplings.
his group of friends would dox the members upon joining. Him, his friends, and surrounding parties were obsessed with femboys, and the idea of force femming in general. Certainly an extreme example, though I have to ask, does subtle manipulation
This fucking soundtrack, dude.
with the same memes he used really sound so far-fetched by comparison? This also happened before the
Remember that Epstein, fuck me. Epstein ran poll from like 2013, so R9K running these ops is a bit more nefarious than just dumb internet. Regardless, it's fucking nefarious as fuck. Doesn't need Epstein.
2020 quarantine made everyone go fucking ballistic over femboys. All of these things, the outfits, influence, attention.
Card person says if you're on 4chan, you're a valid PvP. What does the P stand for in that scenario, though? Card fucking docking posting.
Niche humor, femboys. They overlapped into something terrible. Layers upon layers of sex jokes and mass social media attention created what is for all intents and purposes
Hey Kage, glad you enjoyed.
the big bang of pink pilling. Everyone wasn't just learning about femboys. Other people were starting to fall into the ideology themselves. Or maybe they were already there and decided objectifying themselves
Ooh, I like that he said ideology.
for internet clout was the way to go. To give a blanket statement before we move on to the next chapter, being transgender or even a femboy is not a fetish in itself. It's just personal expression. However, it can be a fetish, either for the individual
AGP
or an outside party. It's undeniable that a ton of people definitely do fetishize them, hence chasers.
Yeah, but also a ton of them. I would suggest these circles aren't as separate as you might present.
A big chunk of our future problem can be attributed to these guys. They're kind of the root of all evil in this case. Another contribution to these memes being
Nah. They're a piece of the puzzle, they're not the root. They're a piece of the puzzle, they're not the root.
circulated, even if it was small, were individuals who were low-key dysphoric, and used them as an outlet. The internet around this time was a lot more centered around shitposting. It was also a lot edgier. Fond memories we may have, being yourself online was
Internet was edgier. We're all aware of all the clampdowns and restrictions and whatnot. Demonetization, the full-on censorship, bannings and stuff. I'm not sure the degree of edginess is lower. It's just how you can be edgy. I'm not 100%. Certainly within narrower categories, but
fucking impossible. Pretty much
also, was Leafy even that edgy? I don't know. Man.
everyone was drowned in irony, and if you went against the grain, you were going to get grilled. That's just how it was, and honestly I kinda miss it. It was funny. Anyways, in certain cases these memes were being posted, ironically, though it reflected the poster's true self a bit more than they were letting on. This subset of posters would go on to create their own communities, the same specific communities that pink pillars would make their #1 target.
Spreading influence.
When the COVID-19 quarantine came, the Traps Aren't Gay crowd's humor began to evolve with other viral gooner-adjacent trends at the time. For example, the word bussy was definitely not in most people's vocabulary beforehand, but now you couldn't finish a conversation without hearing it. Throughout 2020, this humor would trickle into a mostly unaffiliated meme trend.
We ussy in this household. We don't bussy. We add ussy to the end of everything, but not bussy.
And there's no real way around calling it what it is. The transgender stereotype memes of today. The Redditor Blahaj, Monster Energy, Ultra Kill, Bridget, Guilty Gear, Astolfo, Pumpkin, Estrogen memes we know and certainly do not
I don't know the pumpkin
love. It's an ever-growing bundle of
I'm not convinced this guy doesn't love it. I'm going to be real. look at the most popular memes, popular videos on this channel. It's bad when you're popular. Dude, are you a femboy? 2.8 million views, 30 seconds 2 years ago.
Stereotypes born from Redditors.
They're 18 now?
That continues to snowball, and rather unfortunately absorbs otherwise interesting people.
What has V-Plasm done besides this? The groomer with 20 plus victims who keeps coming back. I'm not even going to say anything. I almost fucking Fed posted. You got to be careful in these days.
Into what can only be described as the transgender version of a normie. The LGBTQ's version of a Funko Pop collector.
The pumpkin thing is that trans chicks sex the pumpkin? By making a hole with the fucking stalk. Because one of those is fucking horrifying.
Bad people? Not by any stretch of the word. It's more so a personality that lacks personality. Like a foundation without a house built on top. Although that's pretty much exactly what it is. Gender dysphoria and transitioning are pretty complicated things. It's easy to lose track of, say, your personal hobbies, fashion, interests, mannerisms. These memes were created for trans youth, typically by trans youth. On top. Although that's pretty much exactly what it is. Gender dysphoria and transitioning are pretty complicated things.
Okay.
It's easy to lose track of, say, your personal hobbies, fashion, interests, mannerisms. These memes were created.
Easy to lose track of your mannerisms? I don't comprehend what he's suggesting.
Created for trans youth, typically by trans youth, to build a sense of belonging and community. A basic set of things to help embrace and affirm their identity until they could grow up and realize
This is fucking cult shit.
you don't need to reinvent your whole personality just to change genders. You can still like the same stuff, dude. I've heard countless stories about this very thing from trans people. Whenever I asked, the story was
You lose, what do you mean lose track of your mannerism is just what you fucking do. How do you lose track of...
relatively consistent.
Are we surrounded by, like, fucking reptiles?
They all adopted the trans normie starter pack because it was...
Do people think about, like, when someone has a little quirk, are they thinking, I'm gonna do this because it's my mannerism?
something to hold on to when they were trying to rediscover themselves. A study guide of sorts. They're all definitely still trans, but most of them cringe at the thought they used to identify with those memes. Either because it was try-hardy and fake, or because of the current reputation they have. Either way, these memes were meant to serve as the first stepping stone into transitioning for those who needed it. They say the road to hell is paved with...
Have you ever read about, like, fucking Islamic State social media strategies?
good intentions. And such is the case in this scenario. Because the internet is...
Even calling it stepping stones is a really interesting parallel to anyone who's familiar with Islamism.
Is the internet, these images were later reposted by concerningly old hobgoblins perusing...
You helped pioneer them, right? Yeah, people know me for the candid stuff and my role in founding ISIS.
Minors, except they made one small change. They added a tinge of that traps aren't gay e-girl obsession humor to it. Actually, they added a lot. Naturally, these memes also started going viral, ensuring the well was poisoned forever. These days, if you go out of your way to find images like I quite regrettably needed to do for this video, you'll notice the vast...
I don't believe you. 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 Saying it, I think the plasma doth protest too much. We're looking at your unlisteds. Boy. I need my Deus Ex music. Ah! We're looking at your unlisteds real quick. The capture response field is required. V plasma. Plasma. No unlisteds. Okay, you're safe for now, boy.
Majority mentioned being thick, horny, or some other sexual remark. It's become borderline socially acceptable to both post these and make them as a minor in recent years. No matter what type of community it is. These...
Well, I mean, Nicandros provided an example. You can look at people's unlisted videos. If they've been exposed in such a way that they could be catalogued by any number of websites, Filmit being the go-to for me, personally.
Bastardized stereotype or starter pack memes, whatever you want to call them, are littered everywhere. For example, the furry community is bursting at the seams with stuff like this. A notorious case of these stereotypes being used could be found in Otoconoco Pharmaceuticals, a project by a Brazilian trans woman to produce bathtub HRT and sell it to those who couldn't get a prescription. It was controversial to begin with, since anyone against HRT
is going to mention the thing.
Transgenderism would be against it no matter what, and she was associated with Keffels, which was bound to land her some flack regardless. That being said,
I think a Tokonoko was worse for Keffels than Keffels was for a Tokonoko, dog.
If certain people want HRT and it gets banned locally, they're going to look for it elsewhere. You can't really fault people for that. It's their choice anyways. What you can fault someone for is plastering the box with boobs and lolicon artwork that indulges the sexual stereotypes surrounding trans people, knowing minors are going to buy it.
Keep out of reach of parents was the classic one.
At one point, keep out of reach of parents was printed in big red text.
You know that trans cat girl that people were like, they're fucking cheating. They're cheating. I look at their Steam profile and they're in groups with like fucking this shit as the icon, shit inviting people to more private places with this shit. And people are like, no, this has nothing to do with that. We only care about the cheating. Fucking why, brother? It's insane.
This was a horrible look that's still weaponized against trans people to this day, and customers themselves would point out how harmful the marketing was. Also, the quality was super questionable, such as finding hair in the vials, and overall it seemed like it was being made in an unsterile chemical processing plant by an
Riley CS, that's the one.
Inexperienced chemist.
Yeah, it seems crazy to be like, the association with Keffels didn't help. I think the PR black mark flows more the other way in that case. As much as I'm not a fan of Keffels either, I think a Tokonoko is more damaging to Keffels than Keffels is to it.
The bulk of these memes weren't focused on sexual topics. However, that changed when the ever-growing Traps Aren't Gay Gooner crowd began mixing in their own humor. This led to minor populated spaces being plastered with weird fetishistic imagery in the process. When that first
I don't believe you this shit was clean and dandy until the dying old femboy enjoyers showed up. I straight up just don't believe you.
Fell, boy did the rest follow. But how does any of this groom someone into becoming feminine? Throughout this history lesson, I haven't really explained that. But now it's time to actually get into the title of the video. Where does pink pilling come into play?
Shakuhachi.
Grooming is a form of manipulation. In theory, anyone is susceptible. In most cases, it, and by extension pink pilling, thrive on vulnerable individuals rather than communities at large. That being said, the majority of pink...
However, molding the environment, molding a community, can be a step in targeting individuals and making individuals more susceptible as well.
Pill victims are...
A community in which doing a certain thing is normal makes it easier to do that thing with a specific person from it who thinks it's okay because it's all around them.
Are sourced through places like youth-focused LGBTQ subreddits and Discord servers, since the moderators seemingly don't care about child safety, or in extreme cases are trying to do it themselves en masse. When a predator reaches out, they tend to try and establish a connection as quickly as possible, then gradually shift the focus of the connection to boundary-pushing questions about sexual topics. The memes covered thus far, cornball and unfunny as they may be, serve as a shockingly effective way for predators to get their foot in the door. They're meant to be relatable,
especially if it seems normal, because wait, people are doing this in public all around me, so what's the difference if someone contacts me personally and is like sharing this with me? What's the fucks with them?
To someone questioning their identity, although that's only phase 1 of the operation. Phase 2 is sending the sexualized versions, shifting the relationship from platonic to sexual. Through manipulation tactics like guilt tripping, love bombing, and isolation, the victim becomes complicit. After this point, there's no telling what sort of crimes happen. When it comes to victims who aren't questioning at all, the process remains mostly the same. Long-term manipulation through seemingly innocuous sources like memes and jokes. A really common way this is done is by the groomer pushing an ironically gay sense of humor onto the victim, and over time this might stop being a joke. I do need to state for the record that these memes are not magically going to groom someone. They're not like force femme cognito hazards if you look at them,
Sure.
but they can be used to manipulate others into thinking and acting certain ways, reinforcing things like girls act.
Which is why I'd say it's weird that he's sort of downplayed the function of a broader community, or the staging ground for selecting targets.
This way and wear these outfits, when in reality
Because these things become more effective through that as well, certainly.
it's hand-selected pieces of the perpetrator's fetish catalog, inserted into the memes the victim's been using to affirm themselves. Pink pilling is related to another type of grooming known as EPI. It stands for Early Porn Introduction, and means a predator introduces sexual media to a victim early on in their life. Usually it's a method to emotionally control them easier.
And that is a huge problem from a grooming the environment perspective online.
Though other times
Bro.
the predator just gets a kick out of shattering a child's innocence. Really sickening shit. EPI plays a role in what we've discussed so far, since these memes tend to outright use cropped NSFW or stick to the relatable SFW images, but twisted just enough to push the narrative into sexual territory, then going from there. The end goal of a pink pillar is to get the victim to view sexual actions as validating to their identity. This creates a very strong codependency bond, since the victim begins relying on their groomer for constant emotional gratification. In some cases, after numerous victims are cultivated, offshoot groups are formed, like certain examples we'll get to soon.
Dog. Bro.
So that's how it works and how to identify it. But how do you spot someone else being groomed this way? The most glaring signs are sudden out-of-character actions from the victim. For example, their display name, avatar, speech mannerisms, and sense of humor change into the pre-established stereotypes. Or really anything you could call questionable. Some extra context, this is why you see these memes occasionally referred to as groomer humor or porn addict humor, since there's no punchline beyond it being about sex.
I'm glad that I don't hang out in places where
Some
this
way.
shit is at all.
When it comes to your friends and family safety, it's better to trust your gut instincts. If you notice someone suddenly
Groomer
change
humor.
big parts of themselves all at once to something kind of unusual, you should probably ask about it. In my last couple of
I don't know.
videos,
Nah, I'm good. I'm alright. I will just, if you start dressing up like a dog, I will just not talk to you again.
I've had a few profoundly intelligent specimens tell me that speaking about this stuff will actually cause more harm than good, since I'm teaching people how to groom others and get away with it, which is absolutely insane to say when one, what? You could say that about any type of activism in history and it would still sound just as stupid. Two,
Any kind? Not really.
people have known about this stuff forever now. Why do you think platforms like Discord and Roblox get so much scrutiny? God forbid, one more video about the topic gets made. That'll really tip the fucking scale. Sorry for derailing, I wanted to address the local wildlife before moving into the next topic. Targeted communities.
Oh, here we go. Maybe he is going to cover the obvious important part.
There's a couple well-known public hotbeds for pink pilling. Some readily obvious, other places incredibly surprising. Each one also varies in size. Some are used daily by thousands.
I would have thought it would be more like the sort of game that would have a large speedrunning community. Or maybe Hearts of Iron does, I don't know.
Others only have a few hundred or less members. On affected platforms, and let's be real, it's the internet, every platform is affected, the activity always tends to congregate in specific areas. Earlier I mentioned pink pill-oriented groomers tend to go after LGBTQ youth communities, though realistically
Hearts of Iron equals Nazi equals trans. That reads. Yeah. I didn't know about the Nazi part.
any platform
People are like, oh, why is there any Nazi crossover? You know about Dr. Josef Mengele, right?
that harbors
Can I do that joke on Twitch? I think it's indirect enough.
a large
That I
child
can get away
audience
with
with
it.
social features such as Roblox will inevitably attract predators. So what about those readily obvious ones? Allow me to introduce you to Reddit's egg culture. Eggs are a term for people who are trans but haven't yet realized or accepted the identity, and cracking or hatching this egg means the person comes out of it. God forbid a trans person realizes they're trans and wants to talk about it. That's not the problem. It's the fact these communities are filled to the brim with overzealous adults, borderline pushing minors into transition.
Overzealous is a fucking interesting term. It implies that there's something baseline that's fine and good. They just go a little bit too far with it.
And if you dare mention it, they just call you transphobic. Even when the people criticizing them have been trans for longer, but that's besides the point. If you actually go to the subreddit, it's mostly just people spamming low
They just whack the egg with a spoon when you need to tap it gently.
effort memes of anime girls overlaid with text to be relatable. Yes, there are people here looking to give or receive advice, and that is the majority. However, they usually end up getting hijacked or even created by actual predators. If you think that's a wild statement, a registered sex offender was promoted.
No, look, you see, they need to be pushed hard because if they show it a little bit, that means they feel it a lot because society represses them, right? That's the thing where it's like, ooh, no, actually, even just showing a little sign of it means they actually are way more into it than you realize because they can't express it, yeah?
To a moderator in 3 LGBTQ subreddits, r/MTF, r/LGBT, and r/EggIRL. What's even worse is that the other mods were deleting and banning members of these communities for bringing this situation to light. The head mod knew who this person was, but apparently the need for mods was so high that that's all they had to work with.
What the fuck do you mean? I'm gonna read this because that's like a brain shorting. On the one hand, I don't want to lose capable people doing such a... Capable of what? Cedar paw? Barring a fortuitous meteorite or someone finally sniping the orange, I assume the next few years are going to be very hard for trans folks. We need all the pedophiles we can get. Donald Trump's in power. We need all the pedophiles we can get. It's going to be rough before things get better. Ugh. I don't like that I'm licking my lips so much throughout this react. It's because I've got dry lips. On the other hand, having a username that can be easily traced to a real-life person is going to create vulnerability and danger, especially with that past record floating around. Not just for Bryn, but also the rest of it. I think the wisest and most prudent course of action would be for Bryn to change their username to something a bit more shielded from their regular life. That would allow us to keep the pedophile on the team while still protecting them. I didn't know it was this bad. I actually didn't know it was this bad.
Egg IRL has been a known hotspot for years now. Good intentions aside, this was inevitable due to its premise, age demographic, and horrendous moderation. Intentions aside, sure. Apparently the need for mods was so high that that's all they had to work with. Sure. IRL has been a known hotspot for years now. Good intentions aside...
What good intentions? You've fucking dismantled that. You fucking obliterated that.
This was inevitable due to its premise, age demographic, and horrendous moderation. Yet it's not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to plagued communities. Femboy-focused subreddits suffer the same fate of being used as a potential victim catalog. Complaints of underage members receiving inappropriate messages from adults isn't uncommon at all. What makes these communities especially dangerous in my opinion is the users will frequently upload photos of themselves, or overshare sensitive information. Discussion-oriented...
Why do they have like the fucking smooth sax in the background for this?
Subreddits like r/feminine boys have a problem of underage users discussing NSFW topics, and moderation oftentimes being too slow to do anything about it. To emphasize the risk minors are at by using femboy subreddits, the most active and popular femboy subreddit by far is r/femboys, an NSFW sub clocking in at over 1.2 million monthly users. That is 6 times more popular than the second most active and supposedly safer work version, which only has 223,000 monthly users. And that one is filled to the brim with certainly risque pictures itself. It's worth mentioning that r/femboy cites itself.
My bro, given what you fucking know about this place, do not even be posting censored pictures unless you have an ID from that person. What are you fucking doing? Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
As an 18+ sub in the rules, and redirects any minors to r/feminine boys, which is a strictly text-based community. So what am I getting at here? Do I think femboy communities are evil or something? No, if they're actually fucking moderated. Whether you agree or disagree with...
By who? If only the pedophile did his job, it would be okay.
The idea of femboys, it's a topic of discussion that's not going anywhere anytime soon. The best outcome with that in mind would be to not have the most popular
These damn fucking lazy pedophiles never doing their job.
On a site as horrendous as Reddit. Let's just face the facts here. The femboy side of Reddit is predominantly overseen by inept lazy mods and actual confirmed predators. And a very large portion of the site quite openly fetishizes them. Do the users of these subs themselves deserve to be lambasted for that? No. However, they get away with talking about stuff they definitely shouldn't.
There comes a point where you have to know what's up, and you're tolerating that, and you're cool with that, and it's not off-putting.
Since there's, once again, awful moderation. To the website's credit, there have been numerous subreddits taken down that were full of minors posting inappropriate photos, and the replies being flooded with creeps begging to DM them. Rare Reddit W. Another pretty infamous sub is r/196. It's basically a shitposting community for progressives. And looking at the community, its issues become apparent quite fast. It's no secret the subreddit is predominantly used by minors. Even the rules of the sub mention this. Despite this well-known fact, the sub is so infamous because it is flooded with borderline or even straight up NSFW. These days, it still happens, but it used to be so much worse. Because the sub is...
It's rules in place to be able to say you have those rules. They're there to be pointed to as the letter of the law. The spirit is not being enforced.
Progressive, naturally a lot of members are queer.
And there's no will to enforce it in spirit.
Type of things that get posted here with the fact most members are teenagers, saying they're targeted by groomers is an understatement. I mean, there is literally a flair for posts called horny post, where people pushing 30 are posting photos of themselves, while yet again the rules clearly state the sub is mostly used by teens. In case I need to spell it out for you, the process of pink pilling is significant.
This vid is starting to feel like it's just here to... What do you mean starting?
Easier when the victim is already questioning in some way, and since Reddit's free labor task force does virtually nothing to prevent it, they tend to get targeted pretty heavily. This does not mean exclusively LGBTQ.
Thank you. Giving a lot of charity to people who decide to be a moderator of a place like this with these blatant issues, right? There comes a fucking point, doesn't there, where you have to be like, why do you want to be in a position of influence there?
Subreddits are at risk though. r/teenagers and the like are known to have predators lurking on them constantly. The unfortunate fact is if it has to do with children, there are going to be creeps present. And it's usually up to the common person, and God willing decent parental figures, to keep a close eye on everything. As dangerous as Reddit may be, it can't hold a candle up to Roblox. Described as the digital version of leaving your child alone in a shopping mall, Roblox is the poster child of poor child safety for all the wrong reasons. Horrendous moderation. The company literally trying to keep people from exposing bad actors. The social aspect. But also those offshoot groups I mentioned way earlier. Groomers and their victims don't exactly try to hide themselves here.
Sorry, is it normal in Swedish high schools to have adults fucking posting weird memes to kids? Is that like... I'm not seeing it as analogous, Whaler.
In fact, they literally put easy to decipher coded messages in their bio, detailing exactly what they want and from who. These individuals then form groups on other social media, doing exactly what you think. You can find these players in the wild since they don't try to hide their tracks.
Whalers High School, where adults are posting fucking risque images, are coming in. Whalers High School, adults would come in wearing like PVC leather suits or whatever.
Although the really bad stuff happens on private servers. In my personal opinion, Roblox is the single most unsafe platform for moderation bans the offender.
We're not putting that on the fucking screen, dog.
Already redirected the victim off platform, and literally nothing is stopping the banned offender.
I'm not watching any more of this video. I don't trust this guy. I don't trust this guy's fucking choice of shit to show in a video. No. Let's give this a spin. Alright. Fandom is fascist, which I almost misread from the corner of my eye as freedom is fascist. Let's see how much we can survive. All right.
More than 1,500 books were challenged or banned by schools, libraries, and universities in 2021. Most were written by or about LGBTQIA or Black individuals.
Making us care more about being on a side rather than actually genuinely thinking about what is.
I can't handle those nails. That's like willingly putting yourself in some kind of saw trap. Can you get through a week of normal life without gouging your eye out? I'd like to play a game, Shaniqua.
Right. The rise of conservatism in our popular culture, especially with Gen Z and Gen Z women.
We frame such importance on being seen as a good person that we forget.
I feel like if you drew her, you would draw a cartoon duck.
We're actually supposed to act as good people.
A time where mass radicalization of the youth reached a somewhat similar popularity as it has today, post-World War I Germany.
We're sliding into fascism. Like, wake the f*** up. We are in it. We have been in it. People like me have been screaming about it for
I was molded by fascism, born in it.
years.
Oh my god. The
Oh, I know
news
this
is even
lady.
in my dreams. Can't even get a break from it, huh? Could really use a break or a true escape from all of this. Let me go interact in my favorite fandoms online to take my mind off of things. That'll
Okay.
help.
Which ones?
To take my mind off of things. That'll help.
Natlan is Genshin's biggest. Not familiar. Not familiar.
It is often said that historians are prophets in a way.
What are you
They
looking
have the
at?
ability to accurately predict the future by studying the past. It's pretty
Okay.
scary how often history repeats itself or rhymes with itself. And if you are living in
Deep.
reality and watching the news semi-frequently and took any form of history class at all, you might be going, whoa. This shit sounds familiar. This shit is rhyming. But you don't even need to watch or read the news to catch that whiff of familiarity. Because, well, this video is titled Fascism in Fandom, which is f***ing crazy, by the way. Like, what am I talking about? I mean,
Who sent this to me? I'm gonna tell Chibi to dox you.
like, you're telling me that online communities dedicated to yapping about fictional people are fascist? The same people who are making everything gay and writing gay erotica of the heated rivalry guys?
Right.
Those people. Fascist. Well, yes, actually. Yeah, those would be the ones. Yeah. And I count myself as one of them, or two, depending on
What?
be the ones. Yeah. And I count myself as one of them, or one of you, depending on where you reside on the internet. It's kind of hard to think that a pronoun having, internet fearing, AO3
Is this like that guy who used to make woodworking videos who just like came out one day as a white nationalist? What am I looking at?
of an individual like myself and many others online could ever be anything but super woke. But I'm afraid that we are some of the most susceptible to repeating fascist far-right talking points and not even knowing about it. And it's almost
You're a fascist and you don't know?
gotten to the point of no return, where we can't tell right from wrong, woke from hate. But I hope by the end of this video, I will convince you that fandom has become fascist and what to do before it's too late. Okay, that was a little dramatic. Lighten up. Oh my god, we're just talking about like the impending doom of everything.
Strength through unity.
Like, relax. And welcome
state's
welcome
right
back to my channel. My
and
name
power
is
over
Lee,
life
as
and
in
death.
Immigration. For no reason whatsoever. None at all. None at all. And before we begin, I want to say thank you so much to all of our existing coffee members. You guys are absolutely amazing. And if you want to join our amazing coffee rat army and you would like to support the channel
Is it fascist coffee?
and support little old me, then please consider becoming a member on the Coffee. Coffee.com/e-is-social, where for just $5 a month, you'll be able to see videos like these super duper early and to get a shout out at the end of every single video.
Aren't these people like way too concerned with the economic system to ever really be considered fascist, because they'd sacrifice anything else to have the economy function the way they want it to? I think that undermines your fash cred, doesn't it?
Little bit helps, especially times like these. So I wanted to say thank you to everyone who supports the channel and everyone who hopefully will support the channel. So thank you guys. So now let's talk about fascism. Woo!
If I was going to do a coffee brand coffee video, it would be on the Harmful channel.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. Oh, me? Oh, just pining over fictional characters again, you know. The huge.
You can't introduce yourself again.
Why am I standing? Why am I mobile? Because I am so happy to say that I am the...
Yo, do you have one of those 360-degree treadmills? That shit's cool as hell. That's very cool. Reminder, Tim never did Harmful Coffee. I need a lot of fucking money to do that.
Proud owner of a standing desk. Girl, look, I'm standing and I'm typing. Like, get into it. This is legit a dream come true, and this is all thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Flexi Spy. Get into it. Okay, no, but like, genuinely, I have always wanted a standing desk. Like, when I say that I am in so much pain, like
she looks like she has a gun pointed at her.
Unnecessary pain. My joints are cracking all over the place. My knee, my hips, my back, everything. And it's because of my sitting position when I'm working. Like, I know it is. I just can't sit normal. I've tried everything. And I know it's because I'm gay and neurodivergent. What do you want from me? But I can now finally thrive with Flexi.
Wait, I get the neurodivergent part might make you twitchy. You're gay, so you have to like wiggle your butt? You itchy? Watch this. At something Soreen.
Pro's comb harness
Stream Deck.
standing desk, which is as gaggy as it sounds. It's got a beautiful wooden top with storage and charging features for easy charging for your phone or tablets. And see, right now I'm currently using it to plug in my ring light. But let's be real, no one's looking at the wood color, okay? We are looking at this. You can electronically adjust the table's height to your preference. So if you want to stand, you can stand. Or if you want to sit, just press a button, the table will lower like magic.
Okay.
It's got programmable memory presets too, so you can find your desired standing height and set it to 1, and find your preferred sitting height and set it to...
I'm not autistic enough for the channel with the for the table with the presets and the tech.
2.
Not enough to think this is cool.
Boom, you're set.
I'm autistic about a lot of things. A table, I can't do it.
As you can see, I have quite the setup for streaming and creating these awesome videos, and even I, with my excessive amount of accessories, can fit everything onto this table. And I still have so much more space. What am I gonna do with all this space? It only took me about like an hour to an hour and a half to put this together, and I put it together by myself because women in STEM, and it's super sturdy and just gorgeous. So if you work from home like me, or you're a student or a creator of some kind, then for the sake of your back,
students are buying
and
anything.
your joints, you have to go check out FlexiSpot. And if you want to be
have we hit the point where the only people who are students are rich to begin with? Have we gone that far yet? Or are they just poorer and poorer?
Extra active in this good year 2026, then FlexiSpot also has treadmills that you can use while working.
There we
like
go.
No more back and knee pain. Let's go. So, good news, FlexiSpot is currently running a mega sale, making it...
You know what? That is tempting, though. I do be getting an aching neck. It's true. She's
a great time to
She's
upgrade
selling
your
it to me,
workspace
boys.
today.
She's
and
selling it
if
to
you're
me.
working with a limited budget, FlexiSpot also offers other standing desk options to fit your needs. Click on the link in the description to let them know that I sent you, and eat up this
I just want one that doesn't move.
desk. Like I'm low-key like rabid. Like I just feel so good. This is stream sponsor. Anyways, thank you so much to FlexiSpot for sponsoring.
God forbid you go outside, says Marburg John. If you gotta work for like 12 hours in a day or whatever, and it's gotta be at a computer, look. Also going outside for a bit isn't gonna help you. You're fucked up by that. It fucks you up.
In this video, and back to the video.
Studying the past. Let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to do a thing that historians and academics haven't been able to do in forever. Give you a straightforward definition of fascism.
Okay.
I am just a gay YouTuber that likes history and has woke opinions. So, those are all my credentials. Fascism is
Just use one example as a model.
honestly very difficult to strictly define, and a lot of people throw the word around at a lot of things, but not everything is fascist. So to give us a good starting ground, let's see where
She needs to focus on a more spiritual fascism. I think it would suit her.
it came from first. The first fascist
The fucking E stands for Evola! I cracked the code this whole time.
leader and the creature who coined the term was, of course, Benito Mussolini, who wanted to reshape Italy into the memory of
Also known for his delicious smoky broths.
its past, to return Italy to the greatness that was the Roman Empire. Also, fun fact, Hitler also used Rome as something for Germany to
Right.
aspire to because he thought ancient Germany was kind of mid.
Right.
I just thought that was funny. I wanted to include that. A lot of white supremacists love the Roman Empire, which is pretty upsetting. Benito took the Latin word fascis, I think is how you say it, to create his party name and
She's? I always said fascies. Not that I say it a lot.
ideology. Fascis refers to a bundle of sticks or elm birch rods that would encircle an axe, which meant strength or unity or penal authority. This became a symbol for Benito, and
Well, the different parts. The bundle itself is unity and strength, and then the axe head is the penal authority part, no?
I will not be pointing
what I
out
was
that
taught.
the US uses this exact same imagery literally everywhere. I will not be expanding on that. Do with that as you will. And of course, Adolf Hitler thought Benito ate and implemented it in Germany through the Party. Also, I have no idea if I'm allowed to be saying these names on YouTube or if I'm even able to say the word fascist on YouTube. So if there's a lot of bleeping, I'm sorry. That's literally censorship, babe. Good luck. Benito and Adolf were and are the figures that...
Oh no, I did eat the rest of your crackers. I meant to get more. No, I meant to get more. Sorry, baby.
most people think of when they picture a fascist, though other countries had or have since followed in their shadows. Okay, but if we're able to point at Benito and Adolf and say that they were fascists, then why is it so hard to define then? Well, the number one thing I think you need to understand when looking at fascism is that it is inherently illogical. Fascist ideology and policies differed between regimes and often changed mid-regime, making it almost impossible to pinpoint specific
I don't think illogical is the correct word for that.
policies to the ideology, which is exactly the point. Fascism is based on whatever the leader believes in.
There's a soundbite.
Exactly the point. Fascism is based on whatever the leader believes in at any given moment. Fact and logic are to be treated as mystical and out of reach as a unicorn. But why and how? Well, turns out it is really hard to convince millions.
You're reaching the point of making your attempt to define it useless because now it can just be anything. Now it's just unilateral totalitarianism.
Of people in a
Right?
country that your way of doing things that will be irreversibly bad for them is actually quite good for them. How do you get people to believe in a lie that will hurt them or people close to them? Well, you make it into a truth, then into a lie again, and then into the truth, and then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until nothing is real, except for your glorious leader who only cares about you. I promise. And the kicker is that they portray all of this confusing bullshit as the epitome of rationality.
Well,
So remember that
kill notes. I don't think it's a fucking definition at all. Because now, how does that happen in fandom? The only parallel would be like someone who owns a platform and decides everything and forces everyone to go along with it.
specifically, they will pretend their insanity is rational. That fact is a great way to understand fascism's inherently incomprehensible nature. Another indicator of fascism is an intense, almost violent form of nationalism, or ultranationalism, i.e., our nation is the best and we deserve to be better because in the past
this is
we
something
used to
more
be
specific.
great and we deserve to go back to this greatness. It is also important to point out that fascism comes to power during times of economic hardship.
Sounds more like a sort of reactionary element. Sure.
Pretty much everyone is suffering. So
We don't have
in like
enough
a
for
Freudian
fascism.
type of way, some crave a father figure to make things better by being tough and strong and willing to make the tough decisions for the betterment of everyone.
You know, it's like daddy arrived and he's taking his belt off.
This is literally where the whole, well, at least the trains arrived on time phrase kind of like is used. And to control citizens easier, party leaders will have them turn on each other, so the state is still seen as just, strong, and safe, and eventually is turned into a type of religion. They use the illogical
This is what it's going to be paralleled with in fandom.
nature of the constantly changing policies, and then they weaponize and redirect the hatred, fear, and anger of their population onto a scapegoat. It's not the government, it's these people. So they take a minority group and blame all of the nation's problems on them. This outgroup is shown as a threat to this nation's greatness, our overall sense of morality, and endangers not only your
I'm sat here trying to predict how this is going to map onto fandoms. I guess I don't know enough about them.
life, but your children's lives too. The outgroup will and has
Definition applies to fascists. Yeah, it's describing what fascists often do. I'm not...
poison democracy, so that is a great excuse to throw democracy out the window. Additionally, of course, in fascist regimes, the news is controlled, opposition is killed or stripped of any power, and to stray from the regime is a form of moral failure. Fascism is also defined by what it hates. Fascism is anti-education, anti-black, anti-queer, anti-anything that does not fit their vision of an ideal society. So anything that reflects that is censored or oppressed, or worse. Now, how does any of this relate to fandom?
Here we
Earlier,
go.
I did say
Thank
that a
you.
lot of people throw this word around willy-nilly, and I honestly seem to be doing just that. Because last I checked, fandom is not a country, nor is there a leader.
Yeah,
okay?
but
Maybe
look,
except for the heated rivalry guys. People love them right now.
That's
What am I
fine.
talking about then? Let's not get too ahead of ourselves real fast. Give me a little bit more time, because first we need to look at how fascists treat art. Because it is oh so easy to censor art when you convince people that said art is an attack on their life or character. It should come as no surprise that fascists only like art
We're going to do the Entartete Kunst thing?
when it is controlled. Fascist Italy focused on creating a very specific type of art that focused on strength.
There was some fucking cool Italian shit. I'm just going to say it. A lot of that stuff is cool as fuck.
Strengthening the state and glorifying their Roman past. Everything made centered the state's image. We can see this in art and also in the architecture of the time. Fascist Germany outright banned and punished art that did not reflect the sentiments of the state. This art was called degenerate.
And ridiculed it. Held the showings of it.
The wanted to rewrite everything there was about Germany, and that included every aspect of culture and of the society's values, which they saw
How can fascism be anti-black? It started in Italy is a good one, Sex Freakman.
were controlled and shaped by art itself. So in 1933, they created the Reich Chamber of Culture, where they oversaw the production of every form of art and attacked any kinds that were against the state. The degenerative art mostly took the form of modernist or avant-garde abstract art that the said reflected everything wrong about the weak society that led them to that moment. The Holocaust Memorial Museum states that the claimed, quote, that the ambiguity of modern art contained Jewish and communist influences that could endanger public security and order. They claimed that modern art conspired to weaken
I mentioned this, didn't I? I was going to look at a Holocaust memorial, but it was too expensive in Hungary. I didn't want to have to pay the ticket price to look at the Holocaust memorial.
German society with cultural Bolshevism. According to ideology, only criminal minds could be capable of creating such so-called
mental
harmful art.
distortions.
The Nazis called this art degenerate. They used the term to suggest that the artist's mental, physical, or moral capacities must be in decay. At the time, degenerate was widely used to describe criminality, immorality, and physical and mental disabilities. If you're gonna remember anything from this section, remember this. Remember the use of morality as a way to suppress art. Thousands of art pieces were burned if they weren't sold off to fund the regime. A lot of historical pieces of culture were lost thanks to these. Also in 1933, 250,000 books were burned as onlookers saluted and cheered.
This guy's throwing a fucking Lenovo ThinkPad into the flames.
Books by Jewish
I didn't know they had that
authors
shit
and
back then.
American authors were set aflame for being un-German or being against German morality and character. The Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels, don't care if I'm saying that right or not, that guy, said in a speech, quote, "The future German man will not just be a man of books, but a man of character. It is to this end that we want to educate you, and thus you do well in this midnight hour to..."
Always reminds me of when my local church did a Pokemon merch burning. Real and true, by the way. Michelin star mind rape? Hang on. My girlfriend's sending me rape videos again. Hey, my girlfriend sent me a rape video because I ate her barbecue crackers. No, I don't like this.
The message in your hands, please. The chocolate. Oh my god. Please try the chocolate from the bowl. You can get the real flavor.
Unpleasant.
Is it good? Yes. For the next step, I'm gonna give you an exfoliant. This exfoliant has been made with sugar and coffee together.
I don't like that. I don't like it. That just feels like an unpleasant experience.
Okay. Try again with the chocolate from the bowl.
I like little gimmicks. I don't like intrusive gimmicks. Like when I ate at Costa's in Hungary, the gimmicks were things like, you know, when we were brought our bread, the waiter also extinguished the candle on the table and pulled the wick out, and it turned out the candle was duck fat. And then he added salt and mixed it up, and then we could put it on the bread. Little things like that. Like a broth was served out of a conch shell and stuff like that.
Very good. This is very good. Now,
I
how
don't
much
like-
do you get to eat of this?
I don't like the pooper scooper dish.
Open-handed.
That seems entitled to Essen. Entitled to Essen.
Commit to the flames the evil spirit of the past. Oh, brother, this guy stinks! Again, highlighting
Does
what
anyone
these
else
books
think the
pose
head Nazi propagandist might not be perfect?
to an ideal German's character. PBS notes that many authors protested this and were reminded of the
Like the weird pill you eat that makes sour toast taste savory. That would be a cool gimmick. Covering my fucking hands in diarrhea is not for me. The miracle fruit thing, yeah? Telezak, I don't remember what it's actually called.
observation made by 19th century German writer Heinrich Heine, who once said, quote, "Where one burns books, one will soon burn people." Now, for no reason at all,
At this really fancy restaurant, my waiter made me eat a candle. Tim Morrison. Look, it was fucking good.
to just kind of look at 21st century America, no reason at all. PEN America reports on the dangerous normalization of book banning that has been happening nationwide, with 6,870 books having been banned for the 2024-2025 school year. Florida, Texas, and Tennessee lead this charge. This honestly has been a growing issue since 2021. PEN America writes, quote, "In 2025, book censorship in the United States is rampant and common. Never before in the life of any living American have so many books been systematically removed from..."
There's an interesting, like, Orwell Huxley thing going on in school libraries, where you have the book ban side, the removal of book side, and then you have the Huxley pilled crit libs, the librarians who infiltrate and then flood it with other things to push the other stuff out, so it doesn't look like they're doing the same thing, but they fucking are.
School libraries across the country. Never before have so many states passed laws or regulations to facilitate the banning of
Only so many books you can fit in the library. It's a battleground.
books, including bans on specific titles statewide. Never before have so many politicians sought to bully school leaders into censoring according to their ideological preferences, even threatening public funding to exact compliance. Never before has access to so many stories been stolen from so many children. Some of these titles that have been banned are Clockwork Orange, The Handmaid.
Me getting cancelled for banning porn from my child's bookshelf in his bedroom.
Tale, All Boys Aren't Blue, Genderqueer, The Kite Runner, The Poet X, and many, many others. Many books talking about queerness are automatically labeled as pornographic.
Did they ban the Turner Diaries as well? Yeah.
Which I will be referring to as corn, so I can give our amazing editor Kelp a break from all these bleeping. So shout out Kelp, love you. Say hi to the people, Kelp.
Sorry, Hex says Genderqueer, the one with the strap-on blowjob?
Project 2025 was and is the blueprint document created by the Heritage Foundation. The same fucks behind Ronald Reagan too, go fucking figure, to inform the current regime what to do while in office. One of the policies was to ban all pornography. In their document, they stated, quote, pornography manifested in the omnipresent propagation of transgender ideology and sexualization of children has no claim to First Amendment protection. Whoa! Wee, 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 red alarms, red alarms, red alarms, red alarms, red alarms, red alarms. Oh my god. They've enacted half of Project 2025 already.
If we don't show kids strap-on blowjobs in school, how will they know what you're doing to them is okay?
Only half. Its purveyors are child predators and misogynistic exploiters of women. Interesting. So it seems that being trans and queer is equal to just...
If we don't put this in schools, how will they know it's normal?
being pornography. So they say
how will they know that all of this is totally normal if we don't have
protect children? But really they're using this so they can ban and censor all works of art that is queer in any way, shape, or form, since they consider it pornographic. They see it as obscene and morally corrupting our children. They make wild and illogical claims, cover it up with morality, and then play it up as simply like a rational thing to do. The Heritage Foundation also wanted to get rid of the National Endowment for the Arts, or NEA, because it uses too much taxpayer dollars to pay for artists to make corn. And the corn in question, lesbian movies, of course. Right. God forbid. They literally listed out lesbian movies as being like examples of why they should shut down the NEA. So are you noticing the tactic? Call something you don't want in your new society, in this specific case queerness, as pornographic or sexualizing children, and then use it as a way to justify banning and censoring it out of a moral obligation.
What does it specifically look like, though?
And any
what are we talking about
here? Like a horrible person because, oh, so you want children to be sexualized? Wow, what a bad person you are.
I'm gonna have to look it up, aren't I? Fact-checking Hexatheon. Genderqueer book. Is it Genderqueer a memoir? Wikipedia says another illustration frequently cited by critics depicts Kobabe's girlfriend performing oral sex on Kobabe, while Kobabe wears a strap-on dildo. For what are we talking, like sixth form library, or are we talking this is like the shit you'd see on a gay Tumblr cartoon porn page. Fast forward, we've been dating for 2 months, we've made out, we've had sex, we've moved on to sexting at work. I got a new, and then it's them sexting. I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on you. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're gonna look so hot. I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm gonna give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside me. And then there's a thought bubble. This is the most turned on I've ever been in my life. I am dying. And then the next frame is them sucking the dildo.
And then yeah, maybe this is taken down.
It's porn. That's porn. It might be in a... What am I reading? One of the... It's a comic. At least this part of the... Oh, it's a comic book, yeah. It looks like it's all comics. The entire book might not be. That 2-page spread just is cartoon porn.
And then that is kind of censored, and then bada bing, bada boom. We then...
This says it was in elementary schools? That shit should not be in an elementary school.
Have PBS reporting, quote, by this spring, the National Institutes of Health had canceled...
Like, fucking full stop. If that's true, yeah, no, it shouldn't be. Point blank.
Over 800 million in research grants to understand LGBTQ plus health, including studies about cancer and HIV prevention. Most of those cuts were upheld by the Supreme Court. That is a fact of what actually happened in real life. The slippery slope of standing on a moral high ground. This shit happens. I actually have a friend that works at an LGBT plus health research center, and she lost her job because the funding got cut. So, great. It is the flowery, blown-up language that sounds oh so morally just, and is played up as rational, when really, bit by bit, they are suppressing and censoring all things that don't fit in their fascist worldview. And also, it just doesn't
Controversial takes here only. Apparently.
Sense. So, let me get this straight, if I'm following. You want to
No Tumblr-esque blowjob cartoons in elementary schools.
cut the NEA.
I say as a toothbrush mustache instantly materializes on my face.
To save money and also to help protect children, right? But then, can you explain to me why we are sending billions of dollars to Israel for them to kill children? So are we protecting kids or are we not protecting kids? Illogical, evil, disgusting. You cannot parade around as a morally good person when you do shit like this. To the Heritage Foundation and this current regime, if you are not some flavor of white Christian nationalist,
As much as I don't like it, there's more to it than this.
then you are the outgroup. And they must convince citizens that the outgroup will hurt them. Like in Germany, things that pose a threat to the regime were labeled as un-German. And
You think this dildo blowjob will hurt your kid? Fascist? Nah,
a
I
threat
don't
on
think
any
so.
good German character. Now, yes, I am hyper-focusing on these specific fascist tactics because they relate the most to today's discussion, but fascism is an ever-changing, complicated thing, so no, I have not gone into every nook and cranny of it. There are links below in the description if you want to know even more of the particulars. I find it quite fascinating if it wasn't so horrifying. Hi, excuse the interruption. I wanted to really quickly hop in here and say that I am raising funds for my mother who has fibromyalgia, which means that she is in constant full-body pain for those who are not familiar with the condition.
I can't afford it. I bought the table.
I've never talked about this on my channel, but I've been her sole provider and caretaker since she got her condition, and I have been miraculously
Making your mom compete with the standing desk. Mom comes after the ad read. What are you doing?
us both alive and taken care of because of YouTube and because of this channel. So when I say thank you guys,
hopefully, dog, you're getting a good cut on those tables.
So much for allowing me to have this as my job. I really mean it. I couldn't even put it into words because without this channel, I wouldn't have been able to take care of both of us if it was not for you guys and for this amazing community that we have built. So thank you so much for that. But
table can't be too good.
yes, she has been unable to work for 2 to 3 years and we applied for disability help through the government, but surprise to no one, they're not helping. It's been almost a year and nothing has happened. So this is where I am coming to you. I have a fundraiser, as I said, up now on GoFundMe. The link is in the description down below to raise some money to help relocate my mother and to be able to continue to take care of her. Sponsors have been really rough. I'm not paid what I used to be. So thank you guys so much for watching the sponsorships. And less brands admittedly want to work with me given videos like these. And I'm also an openly queer creator. So rip. So all of that to say, if you are able to,
I don't know, but do they not still have special things where they'll pay you to be gay? I've talked about this back in the day, like 2016, 17, 18, with Google's acquisition of FameBit, which did a similar thing to Stream Elements, whichever one does the self-service sponsorships. FameBit did a similar thing, and they'd regularly have Google paying people to just make videos where they're like, I'm gay and I love Google. Literally just pay you to be a homosexual. Used to be a thing.
Would appreciate it more than words can describe. A little bit goes a long way, and if you're not able to donate, no worries. Just comment on the video or share it with someone or like the video or interact with it some way, shape, or form. Every little bit counts for real. Everything means so much. So I want to already say thank you so much to everyone who has already donated. It's absolutely insane. The love you guys have shown has been astronomical. So thank you so much for your kindness, and also thank you so much for listening. Okay, back to the video.
No, you can't. You have to fix that. You can't be doing fascism video and make a mistake.
Okay, now we're at the part where we actually start talking ball. So, why is fandom fascist now? Again, fandom, not a nation.
Here we
so
go.
I put so much emphasis on how previous and current fascist leaders use the repression of art as a way to control the culture, and how they create a mindset of what is acceptable and what isn't based on morality, because it's important for today's video. I want to really point out how they play up their inconsistent, illogical nature as the epitome of rationality. The burned art that was degenerate or un-German. The current Christian nationalists want to ban all pornography because it is obscene and morally reprehensible. German really meant Jewish or American-made ideas, books that encouraged critical thinking, and by pornography, they really mean any depiction or discussion of queer people at all. Fascists play on emotions of anger.
Perhaps they do. However, one of the examples is totally fucking justified.
And fear to make it easier to enforce their power. Yes, I just repeated myself because this exact playbook has been and is unfolding in fandom spaces. We are actively, whether we know it or not, perpetuating the same ideologies and talking points that are genuinely destroying my country and other countries around the world right now. Look,
let's
I
go.
am no stranger to talking about this sort of topic.
What's it gonna... Hex says I won't get it. Is it gonna be like lesbians getting obsessive over female characters or something? What's it gonna be?
Like on my channel, I have been sounding the alarm on the worrying increase of conservative far-right talking points within fandom spaces for quite some time now. It is something that I'm very passionate about, yet horrified by constantly.
It's gonna be some form of fandom art. Yeah, that they want gone. What would it be? What would it be? Is it gonna be like some kind of shipping?
Over the past 2 years, I've made several videos on the various events within fandom that raise some seriously concerning red flags. The main of which is when a fictional story tackles sensitive or taboo topics that are not typically depicted. The immediate reaction from many online is to hate on it, deem how morally—
Oh! Anti-incest fascism. Is that what we're getting?
And then label any and all fans
I saw it on screen, Hex.
as somehow
I presume it's the one I just saw on
or
screen.
morally corrupt themselves. Worryingly, there is usually a total lack of analysis. Are these topics handled well within the media? What is the story ultimately talking about? How can the execution of it be better? Most of these questions are just simply not asked when discussing stories that are taboo. Instead, just outright stating that anyone who made this or anyone who engaged with it is sick. This is only made worse when it goes from people getting super upset at fiction that depicts something taboo or insensitive to people getting upset at anything sexual at all, labeling anything explicit as bad, which is of course perpetuating far-right talking points. In this video here, I talked about the game The Coffin of Andy and Lele, which is a mature horror game that follows a—
I didn't get to any straight up incest in that. There were like some sus moments, but—
pair of siblings as they do some pretty bad things. They kill some people willy-nilly and end up killing and cannibalizing their own parents.
We need the Coffin of Andy and Lele in elementary school.
Sorry for spoilers, but needless to say, the game positions them as some seriously sick and up bad people, with some subtext and a secret ending implying that they are also incestuous. So, gross. When it first fully came out, there was a huge hate campaign against it, labeling any and all people who enjoy the game as incestuous freaks. Jeanette McCurdy's debut novel, that literally just came out as a filming, half his age, tackles some pretty uncomfortable stuff. As a former child star that was groomed and exploited, Jeanette McCurdy writes about a 17-year-old girl having a very inappropriate relationship, to say the least, with her 40-year-old teacher. Many, on just seeing the suggestive cover and not reading it, declared their discomfort, and that any who read or like this book is helping to normalize or romanticize pedophilia, and that McCurdy herself—
I like the cat owl—
is evil and disgusting for even writing this book. And now another example, when it comes to fan-made stuff, shout out Genshin Impact enjoyers, I fear we are talking about Kai Luke again, sorry, it equally gets pretty messy. There was a very popular ship or a fan-made romantic pairing between Kaya and Luke in Genshin Impact, and some translations there—
Have you read Lolicon? Have you even read Lolicon?
said to be adopted brothers and others sworn brothers, which takes on a different meaning that I won't go into here. Again, watch this video if you want to know more. I cannot even begin to explain the horrific war there was between people who shipped these characters together and people who didn't. The anti-shippers, the ones against the ship, made it abundantly clear that if you shipped these two characters, you are an incestuous freak and a horrible, corrupt fucking person. Shipping these characters was a direct reflection of who you are as an individual. And some fan artists got sent death threats, had their art careers ruined, and or were harassed constantly. It was a very ugly time, to say the least. Heated Rivalry is a hit TV show that shows a gay—
I feel like she has to be careful with this because it might undermine the reason to have any gay stuff in school libraries to begin with.
romance between two male hockey players, and it has a good amount of, you know, what scenes, you know. And there was also a lot of backlash online where people were saying—
Why is giving kids access to gay stuff important in her mind?
that it was just basically corn, and that it was like a—
I have never read Lolita. However, I'm familiar with the general story.
gateway drug for straight people to fetishize gay people, or that the show was made worse because—
Dude marries a woman to become the stepfather of the girl he's actually interested in, yes?
it was so explicit. And then of course some of the criticism turned into, you know, anybody who watches
Pedo Freakazoid becomes stepfather, yes?
it is doing it for fetish reasons. And
I listened to Turkey Tom's summary of it. He's very familiar with that story.
Are gooner-brained freaks. Also, people said that if you were lesbian and watched the show, you weren't actually a lesbian. So, another example is Book Talk. Book Talk is a community on TikTok that is mainly made up of young women who share, recommend, and discuss books. That's it. All kinds of books are talked about, analyzed, and loved, but of course, the part of the community that loves reading explicit romance, or spicy books as they call them, were made the poster child of Book Talk. Many a YouTube video and Twitter post were made making fun of these women, calling them gooners.
Porn online is like a huge fucking problem. Really massive problem. Even in, like, let's say a space is strictly adult only. Like, we're not even thinking about, like, access by kids. When you allow pornographic stuff, it takes over. It's like adding black ink. That shit does need to be contained, or it just metastasizes.
And simple-minded freaks for...
I think it's because of... like the sex drive is a powerful thing, and the spirit of Goon's past will lead people to push it even further into every space and have it everywhere. They want it everywhere. You gotta contain it. You gotta quarantine it.
Some of these books, lauded in the community, featured some explicit scenes of SA or other sensitive topics. With some of these books, I am sure, handled it very poorly. But soon, it's no...
A space that allows porn is a porn space. Or will become one. Will tend towards being just a porn zone.
Balled into the thought of, hey, all explicit books that these young ladies are reading are now deemed as romanticizing these dark topics. And all y'all reading this shit, you guys are fucked up in the head. It became, hey, if you enjoy any erotica in an abnormal amount, because there's a normal and there's an abnormal amount apparently, then there is something wrong with you. So, no spoiler, equating...
There is an abnormal amount, certainly.
All spicy fiction to deplorable SA rot is giving Heritage Foundation, low-key. It's giving all queer discussions are corn. And that's bad and morally corrupt, which is making it easier for us to censor queer people.
Pornhub has a huge issue. Can't believe it started as a knitting website.
Digress. So all of those examples I just rattled off.
Went from knitting, and of course, once you have a long line of string, what do you need to do with it? That leads to scissoring, and from there, it's all downhill.
To you are pretty recent, like post 2020. But this moral panic that is rampant everywhere you go online didn't come out of nowhere. I mean, like, some of this moral panic was definitely lingering in the background of fandom since the beginning, I am sure of it, but it didn't become so widespread until relatively recently. I argued in this video here that it was because of the pandemic, which I...
Thank you,
At Sister Godiva fed the streamer a 50 Swedish kronor superberry. These fanfiction quirk chunks write about far more degenerate stuff than what is allowed on porn sites.
Well, to be fair, I was going to say, well, there's the whole, like step kid porn stuff, right? But having said that, I'm not really familiar with the fan fiction level, the level they're on. I can imagine that part of it would be with, like, let's call it visual porn. Someone could like something because of the way a pair of tits look or something, and it not be about the stated scenario. But when it's writing, the concept behind it is like front and center, right in your face. Yeah.
Still most.
It means they like the idea of it rather than just like a boob.
Agree with. It just really made everything worse. But I saw someone online, forgive me, I do not remember who put this thought in my brain, that the TV show Voltron was the catalyst. Now, if you're not familiar, to give you a brief summary, Voltron was a very popular show that had a huge fandom online, and it had two very popular ships within the fandom, Sheath and Clance. Sorry if I caused anybody to have flashbacks, my bad. So the character Keith was in both ships, so the other ship existing threatened the possibility of the other becoming canon in the show. The war that ensued is beyond explanation, girl. So much so that articles and even research papers were made studying and analyzing what the happened. Clance shippers.
Do you not like have fun fighting online? Where's the like authoritarian part? The infliction of it.
To legitimize their own ship, stated that Sheath was problematic. And they stated that Shiro and Keith, the two in the ship, had a kind of like familial brother bond or even like a father-son type bond. So it's disgusting if you ship it. Mind you, they were not actually related. It was just like a vibe. It was a moral litmus test. If you shipped Sheath, you were a bad person. So
girlfriend sent me more strange stuff. Not incest stuff. Taking a break from incest. This is more obscene, honestly. That whistle sounds cool as hell, though. I like that whistle a lot. Sharp POV's dead. Ooh.
Of course, death threats, bullying.
Karochi says, "Granny after I'm done with her." Bro.
Doxing and harassment ensued. This was, in many's recollection, and mine as well, the biggest fan war over the problematic
mustache.
nature of a ship. There have been fan wars in the past, but I believe this was like the largest...
Oh god, but you're not talking about her face. So.
Most intense over whether or not a ship is problematic or not. Now, the Voltron situation happened well before the pandemic, but
The Voltron
what year
situation.
did it come out? 2016.
It's time to talk about fascism. We need to address the Voltron situation, okay?
Huh. What else happened in that year? Oh, yeah. So what is
Oh
the
my
common
God.
thread between all of these examples? Well, it seems
All right.
that whenever something fictional tackles taboo or sensitive topics, or is even just explicit, and it gets somewhat popular, it is deemed as a sign of our overall moral decay. It's giving very much when Sabrina Carpenter posed kind of erotically for an album cover, and then she allegedly set back feminism by decades and decades and decades. Damn. Hey, when that happens, creators and or fans are harassed and bullied, and it is normalized under the guise of being morally correct or super woke, or that...
What about a story that carries the moral that all of this is good? Would that like be an exception to this rule for you? Like if everyone was really into a story that's like about a world where all this stuff is getting banned and you're intended to like fucking root for it. Would that concern you? And everyone's like, "Oh, it's so fucking good. I love it. I want to live this."
It is just a rational thing to do. This is supposed to make it hard to defend these explicit topics because it gets watered down to, oh, so you support SA and incest and pedophilia then? Right. As opposed to actually having a discussion about whether or not the depiction is actually endorsing or not. Because remember, folks, do not engage with anything that the majority or the party deems inappropriate. If you do, then you are tainted. You are a degenerate.
Talking about endorsing it or not, I'd be more concerned with the way in which people are consuming it, yeah? There's a ton of stuff that's like, that's fine. But if you have a ton of people, like, there's a lot of stuff where, like, it alone is fine, but if they're turned on by it, if there's, like, a mass audience that's, like, turned on by it, or, like, deeply connected to it, then it's like, we have a problem. Uh-oh.
Are against us all. The fiction you consume must hold traditional values. It must only show the best of people, the most good, pure people ever. You cannot engage with any books on this banned list, for it goes against our very way of life. You are corrupted, a criminal, and a...
And if we're talking about, like, book talk women...
danger to everyone around you. You actually deserve
I think they probably are a danger to everyone around them, even without such material available to them.
to die, by the way. So tell me in the comments down below if those last few lines were me taking the role of a fascist party leader or a really annoying person in fandom online. The similarities are too close for comfort. These examples show how far we, as a collective fandom, have fallen into conservative
Communal
ideals and
gooning
talking
or
points
I'm not gonna say it. I can't do that joke, even though it's...
without even realizing, I hope. The moral panic being used to control what others do. The mindset of depiction...
Have you heard of Morning Glory Milking Farm? I have now, thanks.
The enforcement of purity culture is everything, and then some, the fascists use when attempting to control and oppress the masses.
Seeing the future.
So, to put it simply, the current administration...
Historians can see the future. Here we go.
In the US, the regime is fascist, plain and simple. It just is. All of the telltale signs are there.
Just
the moral
is.
panic, the scapegoating of minorities, manipulation of truth, the zero logic, the constantly changing positions and policies, the suppression of opposition, the anti-queer, anti-woman, anti-POC, anti-anything that is not a white Christian nationalist. ICE is working as the Gestapo, rounding up
Excuse me, it's nice now?
our
It's
neighbors
nice.
and spiriting them away to concentration camps. The news is compromised. The press is suppressed. Journalists...
Is that... Please don't use that phrasing, because it makes me imagine an alliance with Japan to disappear them. I was talking about disappearing them earlier.
are getting arrested, comedians getting censored, education getting cut, rights getting gutted. It's all there. And the are getting arrested, comedians getting censored,
Good example.
education getting cut, rights getting gutted. It's all there. And the weird religious psychosis that the MAGA cult has. And if you think for a second otherwise, you're one of the nimwits that fell...
A lot of this... I guess that you can... I get that you can say it's about the whole package. A lot of this is party agnostic, just with some slight details switched, I'm saying. Although maybe she'd say the same if Democrats were in lead.
Again, you let yourself be told
Who
the lie
knows?
was the truth and the truth a lie, and you didn't even want to question it. You have no sympathy for me. I am f***ing infuriated and honestly pretty f***ing scared. I know history. I have studied it, and I, and many others more qualified than me, see the warning signs. This
You know history? Name every year.
is dangerous territory that if we let up for even a second, we will see history repeating itself. This isn't a book. This isn't a video game, a TV show. It's reality. So when I see what has been happening on the news, reflected in fandom online, a sort of rage that I can't even begin to describe threatens to overtake me. It cannot be a coincidence that the wave of conservatism that made itself loud and clear with F***ass's first election in 2016 coincided with around the time when that wave entered fandom spaces, when everything became a moral panic, when everything you consumed was to
Right.
show how good of a person you are.
Guess what? There was a fucking 2014 version of that. It kind of became a big deal, but it was like from the other side, and in the past it's been from the right, it goes from the left, from the right, from the left, and about different values.
Fandom spaces
a little bit special.
Online are but a miniature of society at large. You see the ebbs and flows within fandom and notice the same currents on the news. It's not something to throw away or dismiss. Fandom for many young people is an introduction to the world. It certainly was for me. So many young kids are being exposed to these conservative fascist talking points wrapped up
She just only notices this one because it hits her.
in the guise of righteousness or wokeness. It's the fear of being a bad person or morally tainted that scares off young people from engaging with anything not traditional or clean. Now, no, I'm not saying that children should go and read Jeanette McCurdy's new book. When something is 18 plus, that is 18 plus, okay? But this mindset does not just circle around R-rated books, but just shipping two characters together, drawing fan art or reading fan fiction. It's not just about up taboo subjects when there are hate campaigns targeting people for shipping two fictional adults together. This moral
That's
panic
funny.
does not save people from the
That's really funny, and that's what you guys are known for, like, forever, isn't it? This, I think she's drawing too, Thank you, Thovar.
I blamed him for the rise of fascism. Even my sub-months turned into 88.
True. I apologize. I disavow. It's kind of what the Tumblr nuts are known for, right? It's more about online neurotics. Flipping out. And in fact, I think it's rooted in the very effect the material has on people. Like shut-ins who try to live vicariously through these relationships. And I would not be shocked, because a lot of these people care about a ship being like the canon one or the number one most popular one, that some of this is them leveraging that language to try and advantage their preferred ship. That's gotta be, that feels to me like a thing these people will be doing.
darkness of fiction. It prevents anyone from engaging with dark subject matter and analyzing it for themselves and maybe learning from it. It discourages critical thinking, which is a
My one is the most real one. Yours can't be because it's this, it's that. It should be illegal.
exactly what the fascists want. You think they are gutting the education department to help you save on money? Girl, they don't want people to question or have the ability to, and we are walking right into their hands. Jeanette McCurdy's book, for example, is supposed to be uncomfortable. She was a child star who was groomed and exploited, and I have seen many people who can unfortunately relate to the book wish they had it sooner to help them understand their own feelings. That is just one reason why a book like this should exist.
They need the book to help them understand their own feelings. That's the importance of access to this material, yeah? Why do you want kids to have access to the strap-on blowjob book, then? Does it parallel? I don't know.
Others dislike it for its prose and its execution of these tough topics, and that is excellent. Yes, let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why it did or didn't complete its goal. Let's talk about whether or not it was a good book exploring the horrors of grooming and exploitation. So do not immediately dismiss any and everyone who reads the book as some creep that immediately turns off any possibility of engagement or critical thinking.
I can call, like, the guy who's, like, reading Lolita while jacking off, like, a creep and pedo, right?
It just makes people scared.
Can I?
Heated Rivalry is an insanely popular queer show, which should be a win, guys. That should be the dub of the century. Woke is back. But no, because it is explicit. It is reduced to f***ization, with many so-called wokers dismissing it as nothing more than corn, and also as a way for straight people to just objectify us. The burned books that challenged the rule they wanted to impose over society. They called art that was not clean and traditional degenerate, and said how any who created this art or enjoys it is morally corrupt. That was their strategy, to justify silencing opposing voices and to enforce conformity, to make it seem like they were really doing the German people a favor by weeding out the evil. They tried to position themselves as the good guys, the victims, actually, to get people on board. The Heritage Foundation in this horrific regime was to ban pornography.
Herr Doctor, a true wordsmith. No, he is merely shipping himself with the fictional child. Ugh.
Under the guise of it hurting children.
when you say it like that, it sounds perfectly normal.
Like a bad person. But in the fine print, pornography also means anything queer. So we must ban all of porn so that we and our children can be safe. That's how they hide their true goals, because again, logic is not the point. Weaponizing fear, anger, and hatred is. So how can anyone sit and witness the exact same talking points be repeated within fandom and not call it for what it is, but a sign of fascism? Forget recession indicators, babe. What about fascism indicators? How can we sit here and watch our young people parrot?
You need to encourage this. You need to encourage everyone who is really into incest stories to call anyone who calls them a weirdo a fascist. You should do that. I think that's important. I think you need to make all these weirdos appear as politically significant as possible, and in that, make them speak in these terms. Very good. Please do this.
How engaging with this type of media reflects poorly on you as a person, when we know those exact talking points are being used by corrupt people in power to silence and oppress us in real life.
Ideally, find all the people who read scat stories and train them to always say that anyone who throws up and says that shit needs to not be in their face, train them to call people right-wingers and fucking fascists and Nazis. I think they already do that really though, but make sure it's all the time.
Is also by design, I hope you know. Yes, the tide of conservatism that has been washing over us since the first Rump presidency has been echoing within fandom spaces just due to us living in this environment. But now, I don't sound like a crazy person when I say that the far rightness of it all in online spaces was on purpose. It is a psyop, point blank, period. And the US government just told us. The government just released information that Steve Bannon and other elites have been behind.
The government wants you to know this.
Behind the creation and manipulation of far-right internet spaces since the beginning. I don't know if we're gonna have to bleep out those names, but the elite, okay? 4chan was a psyop. These elites saw.
The government doesn't want you to know this. You can just fuck your siblings. I have 300 kids with missing limbs.
As a perfect breeding ground for manipulation. And shit from 4chan bleeds into the rest of the internet. This hatred is organized, and it isn't a conspiracy anymore. It's true. And in this video here, I pointed out how it has been proven that TERFs infiltrate queer safe spaces online to spread hateful transphobic rhetoric under the guise of wokeness. And many of us bought it hook, line, and sinker. A large part of people who are stoking the flames or spreading this shit are bots or paid actors online. And then people, maybe young people with good intentions and wokeness in their blood, think that that's the moral way, the best way to
catching a whiff of, Hex. I thought you were sort of being a little bit unfair in your characterization and over application of review, but I guess the Trump admin is psyoping people against incest.
Operate, and then thinking that they're doing good, repeat these toxic fascist talking points, and it spreads like a disease. The biggest carriers of it being woked out young people, and most of us don't even realize what we're doing. We don't know, but now the biggest and then thinking that they're doing good, repeat these toxic fascist talking points, and it spreads like a disease. The biggest.
That itself is a talking point that makes my ears perk up. What do we need to do to stomp that out, E? How do we stomp that out?
Carriers of it being woked out young people, and most of us don't even realize what we're doing. We don't know, but now we gotta stop and ask ourselves, are we gonna let them win? Are we gonna let the far-right fascist transphobes win? Are we gonna keep repeating what they tell us to? Are we gonna keep pointing at each other and saying how, no, I consume media the most ethically? No, I do. Huh? No, we are not. Fascists are.
Is this in part?
4225 fed the streamer $2 Superberry.
Thank you.
4chan was a psyop would go well on a shirt.
I don't think so. Don't do that. I recommend against that, but thank you for the dollars. Is this in part a rewrite and was she online for the 2010s? Is this a way to distance from leftoid behavior of the 2010s by trying to paint it as a right-wing psyop? like fucking tropes against women was actually an inside job.
Taking over our country. We are talking like them, and we are making their job easier. They want us distracted. They want us fighting each other. So we are too busy arguing to realize that pedophiles run our government, and they're stealing our money, and they're killing us.
They're writing our books!
Us in the street in broad daylight, and they're sending our neighbors to concentration camps under the guise of keeping people safe. Sorry, saying it
Sound like you're laughing.
now felt so
Granted, I did speed it up.
real, you know? I really need us to wake up. I ask you to please send this video to a friend, and then have that friend send it to someone else. I think it's
Can you just do that in videos?
consuming pure and clean media or consuming media in an ethical way is not activism. You can't look at a woman who reads questionable books, call her a freak, and then accuse her of romanticizing essay in the name of wokeness, wipe your hands, and then call it a day. You can't tell
Actually, Giga Chad, yes you can.
a shipper who ships fictional adults in a slightly incestuous way to go off themselves and then pat yourself on the back. No, we need to actually be woke. We need to woke the fuck out. I am begging every single person, literally everyone, no matter your worldview, I encourage you to question yourself, to question the things you believe in, and then ask yourself why you believe in them. If we can't analyze ourselves, then we've lost. If you don't know the answer or are uncomfortable with it, or maybe you realize that you believe in these things because you read it somewhere online, then girl, it's okay. You can change your mind. You can learn. You can be like,
Did you know that even in this she hesitates? Because she's using a specific example when she's talking about a value system that should apply to any hypothetical example. If she wanted to take a strong position, she should have specifically gone for, like, incest, rape, smut. Not, you know, a book that features an adult relationship in a slightly incestuous way. Okay, but you're talking about being as strong as possible, so don't you want to showcase the number one thing? You'd be like, you can't call someone weird for liking this? What would be the, like, how far do you go before you're like, it's okay to say that's weird? Like someone reading, like they've printed out on A4 paper like an incest, rape, smut fantasy, and they're reading it on the bus. Can we say you're fucking weird to that person and be like, job done? Or is that also fascist?
damn, shit. They got me. It's okay, my love. Please question yourself. Question everything. And learn and listen to people you don't agree with and make your own decisions. I know it's scary to be like, man, have I been wrong this whole time? It's scary. It is. I went through it, girl. I'm still going through it all the time. And it's not embarrassing. It's part of living. So fact check things. Read multiple sources about a single topic and then analyze. And engage with things that make you uncomfortable from time to time within reason. No, do not put yourself in harm's way at all. But just question and analyze everything, you know? And please, please join your community. You need to meet your neighbors. Girl, I know I get so anxious when my neighbors talk to me when I'm walking my dog, but it's good. You need to find local centers and volunteer at a food
Anxious? That's like the chillest thing ever.
bank. You need to join a queer safe group or something along those lines. You need to participate in protests and maybe even join a local political group if you would like. If you can't do these things in person, then please find online communities. You know, expand your horizons. Use that laptop to yell at your elected officials. Yell in the streets and tell these fascist pigs to get the out of here. Even though they've always been here since the beginning, but that's a different topic for another day. Take all of this energy that you use on telling randos on Twitter to KYS and instead yell that at your local officials. You can yell KYS to the fascist leaders. I give you permission. That's crazy. And I beg you, do not fall for it. Fictional consumption is not a morality test. What you do in the real world is. Do not let that fascist mindset into your head. Get mad. Get overwhelmingly mad and form community like you've never before. I mean, look at these kids standing with each other. Look at these old people protesting. They want us to fight each other. They want us distracted. But to revolt, we must unite. We can't let fascism win. Dear God, we cannot. So again, please share this with a friend. I believe in this message so much, as you could probably tell. And I hope it resonates with all of you as well. I really do. I've been joining local protests and I'm getting involved in my community more and more, but I also feel like it's never enough. So I hope this video inspired even one person to question or change their mind or to just get involved in community. I listen to Leisha Miller on YouTube a lot, who analyzes a lot of the current events, and she is always saying to just form community, meet your neighbors, get involved,
I'm just searching for
form a
some
safety
things.
net, create those bonds, because that is what you can fall back on when times get tough. So I completely agree with that message, so I want to repeat it to everyone here. And if you enjoyed or liked this video, then please give the video a like. And
form those bonds so that you can fall back on them is, I feel, a parasitic mindset.
subscribe.
You have to be strong together, like a bundle of sticks.
We do talk about this stuff all the time, and God knows this video will be demonetized by everything that I'm talking about. I'm kind of worried that it will be. So if you would like to support me so I can keep making videos on topics like these, then please
Is she trying to trap people into getting beaten up, by the way? Go outside, meet your neighbors, make all these social bonds, and then show them my video about how fucking strap-on blowjobs in elementary school. So cool. Is she trying to get people, like, fucking beaten to death? Hang on a second. Is this a trap?
Please consider becoming a member.
Go make friends with people in your community and then show them this video about how cool incest is. Hang on.
The coffee.com/.
What am I looking at here?
Where for just $5 a month, you'll be able to see videos like these super duper early and to get a shout out at the end of every single video. Let me know what you think in the comments. What are
True. Hex. Send them make new friends in your local community and then send them a video of a woman saying she's a fascist at the start and then talking about how incest stories need to be protected. You're not making any friends with that.
Of censorship
Welcome to reality.
and fandom you've noticed. Do you disagree with me and why? I would love to
Show them the video talking about people who fantasize about characters from cartoons dating. They don't want to have anything to do with you.
analyze this video together. So let me know your thoughts and we can start a community and a discussion down below. And if you'd like to support a very woke, very queer-friendly Discord, then my Discord is also linked in the description. It's called eCord and everyone's pretty gay. So
Hanging out together. Your buddy's got his big projector out onto his garage and they're like, yeah, we'll watch YouTube videos. Someone's like, I remember this one, and they play the 7-second clip of Filthy Frank on the skateboard with a can't wake up, wake me up inside, and you're like, okay, my turn, and you put this shit on. You're never getting invited anywhere again.
it's really nice in there. Now let's thank our amazing coffee members. Yes, I'm standing because
And they're like, okay, I don't really want to watch this. No, it's important.
I'm loving this whole standing situation. It's really great. So here is a standing ovation to Alienize, Jonah, Luandrell, Joanne, Summers, Blue Ink Alchemist, Pauline, Shalami, Onyxide, Atticus, IAK.
Amazing. I think people have instinctual revulsion to certain things as well. I think instinctual gut repulsion and revulsion has been underestimated as an element. Anyway. Gonna come back tomorrow with God knows what. That's all. Just a little baby 2-hour stream, the usual length. I treated you to some more torture yesterday. We're cleaning up now. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for the viewership, companionship, incredible generosity. Bunch of little donuts. Thank you so much. Bunch of subs. Thank you so much. Till tomorrow. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the anti-strap-on fascists bite.